The hum of servers filled the air, a constant reminder of the lifeblood coursing through Mercy Hospital. Not blood, but data. Electronic health records, medical images, sensitive patient information, all flowing through miles of cables and blinking LEDs. This was the hospital's nervous system, the digital heart pumping vital information to every corner of the medical facility. But this vital system, like any other, was vulnerable. Cyber attacks, data breaches, and system failures were constant threats, lurking in the shadows of the digital world. Protecting this critical infrastructure was the role of IT General Controls, ITGC, the unsung heroes of healthcare. They were the guardians of data integrity, the sentinels against digital darkness. Their mission was to ensure that the hospital's IT systems were secure, reliable, and operating at peak efficiency. They were the silent protectors, working tirelessly behind the scenes to keep the digital heart of Mercy Hospital beating strong. A sense of urgency filled the air as the email arrived in the IT department's inbox. The subject line, Annual IT Audit, Schedule and Scope. It was the notification every IT professional dreaded yet knew was essential. The audit was not just a formality, it was a rigorous examination of their defenses, a test of their mettle. The auditors, a team of cybersecurity experts, would scrutinize every aspect of the hospital's IT infrastructure, searching for any weakness, any vulnerability that could be exploited. This year's audit promised to be particularly challenging. The healthcare industry had become a prime target for cyber criminals, drawn by the sensitive nature of the data and the critical role hospitals played in society. Ransomware attacks, data breaches, and phishing scams were becoming increasingly sophisticated, demanding a constant evolution of security measures. The IT team knew they had to be prepared for anything. The audit would focus on three key areas: managed change, logical access, and IT operations. These were not just technical terms, they were battlegrounds in the fight for data security. Each area represented a critical line of defense, and a breach in any one could have devastating consequences. The IT team knew they had to approach the audit with the same focus and determination as a general preparing for battle. Their mission was clear: to demonstrate the hospital's unwavering commitment to data security, to prove that they were a fortress against any digital threat. The audit was not just an assessment, it was a call to action, a reminder that the battle for data security never ended. The first battleground was the domain of managed change, a realm where order and control reigned supreme. Every change to the hospital's IT systems, no matter how small, had the potential to introduce vulnerabilities. A new software update, a server configuration change, even a seemingly insignificant patch could open a backdoor for attackers if not managed correctly. The IT team's task was to ensure that every change was carefully planned, tested, and implemented with minimal disruption to the hospital's operations. They were the architects of change, responsible for maintaining the delicate balance between innovation and security. Each change request was treated with the utmost seriousness, meticulously documented, and subjected to a rigorous approval process. The auditors would be looking for any signs of weakness in this process. Were changes properly authorized? Were they tested in a controlled environment before being implemented in the live system? Was there a rollback plan in case something went wrong? These were not just technical questions. They were about discipline, diligence, and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of the hospital's IT systems. The IT team knew that even a single misstep could have serious consequences. A poorly implemented change could bring down critical systems, disrupt patient care, and damage the hospital's reputation. They were the guardians of stability, the protectors of the delicate equilibrium upon which the hospital's digital lifeblood depended. Leading the charge in the managed change battle were the change champions, a dedicated team within the IT department. These were not your typical techies. They were diplomats, negotiators, and enforcers of best practices. They understood that change was inevitable, but it had to be managed with the utmost care and precision. Their role was multifaceted. They worked closely with different departments within the hospital, translating technical jargon into plain English and ensuring that everyone understood the importance of following the change management process. They reviewed every change request, assessed the potential risks, and ensured that all necessary approvals were obtained before any changes were implemented. The change champions were also responsible for maintaining detailed documentation of every change, creating an audit trail that could be easily followed and reviewed. They were the historians of the IT department, meticulously recording every modification, every update, every tweak to the system. Their work was often unseen and unappreciated, but they were the unsung heroes of the managed change battle, ensuring that order and control prevailed in the face of constant evolution. The success of the entire IT audit hinged on their ability to demonstrate that Mercy Hospital had a robust and effective change management process in place. They were the guardians of order, the sentinels against chaos, and their dedication was paramount to protecting the hospital's digital heart. Section 5, the second front, logical access control. The second battleground was the domain of logical access control, a realm where trust was earned, not given. Here, the focus shifted from managing the systems themselves to controlling who had access to them. Every user, every device, every connection represented a potential entry point for an attacker. The IT team's task was to ensure that only authorized individuals had access to sensitive data, and that their access was limited to what they needed to do their jobs. They were the gatekeepers of the digital realm, responsible for maintaining the integrity of the hospital's data fortress. This was a complex and constantly evolving battleground. The auditors would be looking for any signs of weakness in the hospital's access control policies. Were user accounts properly provisioned and deprovisioned? Were passwords strong and changed regularly? Was multi-factor authentication in place for critical systems? The IT team knew that complacency was their enemy. They had to stay one step ahead of the attackers, constantly evaluating and strengthening their defenses. They were the protectors of patient privacy, the guardians of confidentiality, and their vigilance was essential to maintaining the trust that was the very foundation of the hospital's mission. Section 6. Access denied gatekeepers of sensitive data. At the front lines of the logical access control battle were the system administrators, the gatekeepers of the hospital's most sensitive data. They possessed the keys to the kingdom, the ability to grant or deny access to the very heart of the hospital's IT infrastructure. Their power came with immense responsibility, and they understood that their every action was subject to scrutiny. They were masters of authentication and authorization, wielding complex tools and technologies to control who could access what. They implemented role-based access control, ensuring that users only had access to the information and systems they needed to perform their specific job functions. They enforced password policies, requiring users to create strong, unique passwords and change them regularly. But their work went beyond just technical controls. The system administrators were also responsible for educating users about the importance of data security. They conducted security awareness training, reminding staff about the dangers of phishing attacks, the importance of logging out of systems when not in use, and the need to report any suspicious activity. They were the unsung heroes of data security, working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that the hospital's most valuable assets remained protected. Their dedication and vigilance were essential to maintaining the trust of patients and ensuring the integrity of the hospital's operations. Section 7, the third theatre, IT operations, a constant vigil. The third battleground was IT operations, a realm of constant vigilance and rapid response. Unlike the previous two battlefields, which focused on preventing attacks, IT operations was about detecting and responding to attacks that had already breached the perimeter. This was the realm of firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and security information and event management, CM, tools. The IT team in charge of operations was like a 24/7 security detail, constantly monitoring the network for any signs of suspicious activity. They were the eyes and ears of the hospital's digital defenses, analyzing logs, correlating events, and hunting for the telltale signs of an attack. Their tools were sophisticated, but their greatest asset was their experience and intuition. They had seen it all, from simple malware infections to complex multi-stage attacks. They knew the patterns, the anomalies, the subtle indicators that something was amiss. And when they detected something, they were ready to act, swiftly and decisively. The auditors would be looking for evidence of a mature and effective IT operations capability. Did the hospital have the right tools in place? Were they being used effectively? Was the team trained and prepared to respond to an incident? The stakes were high. A slow or inadequate response could mean the difference between a minor incident and a major data breach. Section 8. Incident Response, the emergency room of data breaches. Within the IT operations team, a specialized unit stood ready, the Incident Response Team, or IRT. These were the digital first responders, the equivalent of an emergency room team for data breaches. Their job was to contain and remediate security incidents, minimizing the damage and getting systems back online as quickly as possible. When an alert was raised, the IRT sprang into action, following a carefully crafted incident response plan. Every member of the team knew their role, their responsibilities, and the importance of working together quickly and efficiently. Time was of the essence. Every minute that passed could mean more data compromised, more systems affected, and greater reputational damage. Their first priority was to contain the breach, preventing the attacker from moving laterally within the network or exfiltrating sensitive data. They isolated affected systems, blocked malicious traffic, and worked to identify the source of the attack. Once the immediate threat was contained, they could begin the process of remediation, removing malware, patching vulnerabilities, and restoring systems to their pre-breach state. The IRT's work was high pressure and demanding, but they were driven by the knowledge that they were the last line of defense between the hospital and a potentially devastating cyber attack. Their success depended on their training, their experience, and their ability to remain calm and focused under pressure. They were the guardians of the hospital's digital health, and their dedication was paramount to ensuring its continued operation. Section 9. Unsung Heroes, the importance of documentation and training. While the technical controls and the skills of the IT team were crucial, the auditors knew that true security went beyond technology. They were equally interested in the hospital's security documentation and training programs. These were the unsung heroes of IT security, often overlooked but essential to maintaining a strong security posture. Documentation was the bedrock of a secure IT environment. Policies, procedures, system configurations, network diagrams. All of these documents provided a roadmap for securing and managing the hospital's IT infrastructure. They ensured that everyone was on the same page, following the same rules and working towards the same security goals. Training was equally important. Even the most sophisticated security controls were useless if the hospital's staff didn't understand how to use them or the importance of following security best practices. Regular security awareness training was essential to keeping staff informed about the latest threats, reminding them of their responsibilities, and empowering them to become active participants in the hospital's security posture. The auditors would be looking for evidence that the hospital took documentation and training seriously. Were policies up to date and comprehensive? Was training mandatory and engaging? Did staff understand their roles and responsibilities in maintaining a secure environment? The answers to these questions could make or break the audit. Section 10. Victory and Vigilance, the never-ending battle for data security. After weeks of intense scrutiny, the audit finally came to an end. The auditors, armed with their checklists and observations, delivered their verdict. Mercy Hospital had passed. The IT team breathed a collective sigh of relief. Their hard work, their dedication, their sleepless nights had paid off. They had proven that the hospital's IT systems were secure, their data protected, and their patients' trust well placed. But the victory was bittersweet. The IT team knew that the battle for data security never truly ended. The threat landscape was constantly evolving, with new threats emerging every day. What worked today might not work tomorrow, and complacency was their greatest enemy. The audit had been a valuable exercise, not just improving their security posture, but also in identifying areas for improvement. The IT team embraced the auditor's recommendations, using them as an opportunity to further strengthen their defenses and refine their processes. They knew that the next audit was just around the corner, and they would be ready. The battle for data security was a marathon, not a sprint, and they were in it for the long haul. They were the guardians of the hospital's digital heart, and their vigilance would never cease. Section 11. The future of healthcare security, a shield against emerging threats. As the IT team at Mercy Hospital looked to the future, they knew that the challenges would only become more complex. The healthcare industry was rapidly evolving, with new technologies, new devices, and new ways of delivering care emerging all the time. Each of these advancements brought with it new opportunities for improving patient care, but also new vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit. The rise of telemedicine, for example, had been a boon for patients in remote areas, but it also meant that sensitive medical data was being transmitted over networks outside of the hospital's control. The increasing use of medical devices, from insulin pumps to pacemakers, had the potential to improve patient outcomes, but it also introduced the risk of these devices being hacked and used to harm patients. The
IT team knew that they had to stay ahead of the curve, constantly adapting and evolving their security practices to meet these emerging threats. They were committed to embracing new technologies and approaches, but not at the expense of security. They were determined to find ways to leverage the power of these advancements while mitigating the risks. The future of healthcare security would be defined by this delicate balance between innovation and protection. The IT team at Mercy Hospital was ready to lead the way, serving as a model for other hospitals and healthcare organizations around the world. They were the guardians of the digital age of medicine, and their mission was clear: to ensure that technology remained a force for good, improving patient care and saving lives.